Welcome, everybody. Welcome back into another episode of Paradigm Switch Book Club. I hope you are doing good. I hope you had a great week so far. And today we are in for something very special and something very incredible. If you can hear me and if you can see the slides, please let me know in the comment box. And if you're joining us on YouTube live stream, thank you so much for being on the YouTube live stream. The best thing that you can do is you can share the YouTube live stream with your friends and families whom you think it can be beneficial. Just share the link on your social media. If you want to tag us, you can tag us and just let us know when you are there on the YouTube live stream. Let us know from which part of the world you are tuning in with us today on the YouTube live stream so that we know that from which part of the world we are having people tuning in with us and having the benefit of being into these sessions and really enjoying this incredible opportunity that we have for all you. So we're going to wait for just one more minute so that we give that extra space of time to everybody to be here in this call right now. Okay. So I am just going to wait for one more minute. And I'll advise you that if you are already in the call and if you think this can benefit someone, if you think there is someone in your family, someone in your friends, if you just had that hunch in your today that this is something that could really benefit someone, I'll encourage you that go ahead and just share the link that you had with you that you used to join this session. Okay. So just share this link with them. And we are in for the incredible, and powerful session that we have prepared for you today. And I'm really looking forward to share this information with you all because I believe this information is really powerful. And what is more powerful is that when you understood this information, right? And when you realize the power and the potential behind these ideas, things just makes a lot better sense to all of us. So as you already know that, we have been discussing this powerful book called as Your Invisible Power. Now, this is the book that has been written by Genevieve Behrend, who has been the only student of the great Thomas Troward. Now, if I have not mentioned this before to you, I would love to give you a little context behind this amazing information that we are reading right now. Okay. So Thomas Troward, way back in time, in 1800 or something like that, was one of the pioneers when it comes to writing about this philosophy of mindset, this philosophy of ideas. And he was really incredible because whatever he was sharing at that time in 1800s was really powerful because he was combining whatever he has learned in his studies, and he was just relating it to the science. And you can imagine that way back in 1800s, the science was not advanced as much it is right now. So think about the vision and the mind that Thomas Troward had at that time when he was giving these ideas, when he was just sharing this information with people from a scientific perspective, which people could not have understood it before. And he never had any students in his life. That means he never mentored anybody. But Genevieve Behrend has that sincere desire within her that she wants to get mentored by someone who is such an exceptional person when it comes to mindset psychology and all that stuff. And she made the decision. She made the decision that she is going to study from Thomas Troward. She wrote him a letter. And, in return, he said that I never had any person who have mentored in my life. And he put up a price which was way beyond the reach of Genevieve Behrend at that time. I don't know what was his intention to put that price on his coaching, but Genevieve Behrend said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to find the money to do your coaching. I'm going to find the money to get into your program or into your mentoring. And that's what she did. And later on, her life story is incredible. She wrote so many powerful books, Genevieve Behrend, and this is one of the best books that I have ever studied from Genevieve Behrend, which is Your Invisible Power. So if you have been reading this along the way while we are doing these coaching sessions, while we're doing these book club calls, I can tell you that you must have really grasped something which is beyond what we think is possible. Okay. So today we are getting into the idea of what is the relationship between the physical world that we are manifesting on day-to-day basis and the mental or the inner world that we have. If I have to put it in a better perspective for you, the relationship between our inner thoughts and our outer reality. That's what we're going to study today. That's what we're going to discuss today. And trust me, there are many people who use this statement that, It's our thoughts that make our life. It's whatever we think really creates who we are. But the question here is, do we really understand how that reality is being created? Do we really understand how those thoughts that we are thinking on a day-to-day basis are actually shaping who we are? Now, isn't that a great question to ask ourselves? I want you to think about it, because once you understand that it is your inner self, it is your inner world that creates your outer world, my dear friends, you become a better individual. And you learn how to control your mind at that time. You learn how to really be careful and be mindful of the words that you're using, be mindful of the things that you're doing, be mindful of the acts that you're performing. And then once you grasp that understanding, once your mind reaches that level to understand that science, the psychology, the philosophy from that perspective, that brings a bigger shift into our lives. And that is a shift that we are going to talk about today. That is what we'll be discussing today, your invisible power. And we're going to find out what is the relationship between the power that is within you and how that power works in, how that power works with the power that is on the outside world, and how these two powers work combined together to create the life that we want for ourselves. So before we understand that, we have to really understand this statement right here. Now, as I told you, many people have heard this statement, but do we really know the statement? Do we really know the statement inside out? I always tell this to people. There is a difference between knowing a thing and there is a difference between being that learning. For example, you can learn in a book then how to be disciplined. But are you really being disciplined? Are you really being that philosophy, that psychology, whatever you have read in that book? So, for example, we are reading here that everything we manifest on the outer physical world is a result of what's going on deep down in our minds. Okay, if we do understand what's going on deep down in our mind, do we understand what exactly it is? Do we understand what's there? Do we understand, how to change it? Do we really understand that stuff? Now, I'm going to explain you the three planes of understanding on which we are living. And then we will be getting into the diagram of mind, understanding it from a conscious level, understanding it from a subconscious level, and then understanding how those thoughts actually deepen down into our subconscious mind and really manifest our physical reality. Okay. But before that, let us understand this statement right here once again. Everything that we manifest. Now, understand that very well. When we use the word everything that we manifest, do not try to relate it to certain things. Okay, this is what I manifest, this is what I don't manifest, this is what I don't manifest. No, everything, my dear friend. It doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how big that thing is. All right, or sometimes that things may seem irrelevant to whatever you're doing, but understand that everything that is coming into your life, okay, it is a reflection of whatever has been going on inside your mind. And for a very precise reason, I have right here that it is a result of what's going on deep down in our mind. Now, do not think about that. If I just start thinking about, if I just start saying myself that, oh, something bad might happen, something bad might happen. No, it's not work like magic like this. Okay. When I say deep down in your mind, that means that the convictions, the beliefs, the paradigms, the strong paradigms that we have in our subconscious mind, those are the paradigms that manifest over and over and over again into our life. Now, have you seen people in your life who are like always damn confident, irrespective of whatever they do in their life? And there are people who are like always worried, they're always overthinking, they're always doubting themselves, they're always saying that maybe this is what I cannot do, maybe this is not my portfolio. And you might have seen a big difference between those people who really are by default confident and the people who are like not always confident. You might see the people, the person who is always confident end up doing things. You know why? Because he has that deep down subconscious belief within him or her that they can do it. While on the other hand, people, who keep bouncing between, I believe in myself, I don't believe in myself, I can do it if this happen, I can do it if that happens, but I cannot do it if that doesn't happen. That kind of belief system never helps anybody in the life. And when we say deep down thoughts, the deep down thoughts are those thoughts over which you do not have any control. because they are programmed to the smallest, simplest details in your subconscious mind. Those details are absolutely programmed into the core of your DNA. But the good thing is that we can change it. We can change it because we do not have control over it, but we do have control over rewriting those belief systems. We do have control over rewiring whatever has been wired in our brain so far. And this is only possible once you understand how everything happens, how everything functions. For example, if you go into a mechanical workshop and you do not understand, how to, if you do not understand how to use those machines and equipments that are there in the mechanical workshop, right? Even the greatest machinery will be of no use for you. But if you're someone who know how to use that machinery, if you're someone who know how to use those equipment, and on top of that, if you know what you want to create in that machinery or in that workshop with that machinery, everything is going to change. Like, for example, a scientist in a scientific laboratory knows everything what has to be done, and he can create miracles in that laboratory, right? What if you put someone who doesn't know anything about science in that laboratory? What's going to happen? He might end up messing up something, or he may end up doing something which nobody has expected, or he may end up creating a miracle, but can he repeat that over and over again? No. Why? Because he's not going into a place with the knowledge, with an understanding. And this is exactly what happens when we start studying mindset. This is exactly what happens when we start understanding, like what we are doing, when we start understanding what we want to manifest. So we need to understand that the mindset, whatever we are doing here, it's begin with the simplest of things and then adding upon those simplest of things. Okay. So just think about it for a minute. Just try to understand this principle of that everything we manifest on the outer physical world is a result of what's going on deep down in our minds. Because that means those subconscious beliefs, those convictions, those paradigms, whatever you want to call them, you can call it in any way you want to call it. But that's what actually is creating our reality on day-to-day basis. Now, moving further, let's have a look at one very key idea. As a human being, we are living on these three planes of understanding. So we are a spiritual being, okay? And sometimes, people, when they start thinking about spirituality, when they start thinking about, being a spiritual being, they're thinking they're looking at spirituality, that's something they have to achieve. They're looking at being spiritual as something, a divine state that they have to reach in their life. But in fact, it is the exact opposite of it, my dear friends. Spirituality is not something that you are seeking in your life. Spirituality is something that you start expressing and then you just keep expressing throughout your life. I want to stress this idea. You are not, so you're not a physical being having a spiritual existence. You are a spiritual being having a physical existence on this planet. It's your spirit who is manifesting yourself to and through the body that has been assigned to you right now on this planet. And your spirit has been pure since centuries. It has been always a pure form. Although, as we go through life, we either make that spirit become more purer and more better, or we just damage it by the surrounding negative ideas, belief systems, and conceptions that we get from other people. Now, you might be thinking what this has to do with achieving my goal, what this has to do with getting better in my life. It has everything to do with getting better in your life. Those people who do not understand this concept of being a spiritual being and having a physical existence, it is what the real life is. It's not the other way around, that being a physical body and having a spiritual experience. We never have a spiritual experience. In fact, we are always into the spiritual realm once we open the eyes of inner understanding. So understand that, when you allow whatever is going in the outer world to get fixated into your mind, you're stopping the flow of spirit. Your spirit is always trying to express itself to and through you in the best possible way it can. You're a spiritual being. All right. Now imagine, you have a water pipe, right? And if the water pipe is clear and there is no resistance in the water pipe, the water is going to be flowing like a free flow from the water pipe, right? What if a stone gets stuck in the water pipe? What's going to happen? It's going to completely damage the flow of water. And then it may end up damaging the pipe, right? And you see, but the water still remains the same, right? As soon as you cut the pipe, the water is still there. It has no impact on water at all. That's what spirit is. That water is spirit. That pipe is your physical body. And that stone is the disturbance coming from the outer world. And if you want your spirit to keep expressing itself in the best possible way it can, you have to understand that you have to grow in two aspects. Okay. First of all, you have to grow in knowledge. Now, when you are on this planet, you are having a physical experience, right? So you have to have a practical knowledge of whatever field you are in. And then you have to have this spiritual understanding of how your mind functions. You cannot become super successful in your life until or unless you do not have knowledge of these two elements. For example, let's say there is a certain career field in which you want to exceed, right? To exceed in this field, you must have understanding of everything about the field. Okay. Like all the knowledge that you can gather about the field, you have to gather that knowledge. But understand that if you're not building the right mindset, all this knowledge that you're gathering about this field, whether it's scientist, whether it's, you want to be a sports star, whether it's you want to be an athlete, whether you want to be you want to do a good job in a corporate level or anything that you want to be, you can gather all this knowledge, my dear friend. But if you still have that negative mindset where you are not being happy, where you're just looking at other people, if they are doing good, you're not, feeling bad, better about it, or you're feeling bad about it, or whatever negative emotion that we can originate in our mind. And we are always, like, let's say we are always saying that economy is bad. We are always saying that the market is tough. If we are using those kind of phrases, that means we are showing doubt in the spiritual power of the universe. We are showing doubt in what's happening, on the supreme power. And when you put doubt on the supreme power just manifests whatever you put on it. It's as simple as it is. When you go into the mirror, you look at yourself, you see yourself as it is, as you are. It doesn't changes, right? And when you put up, like, for example, if you change your outlook, if you change your hairstyle, you start looking different, right? But what happens about the inside part of you? What's going on inside? Where is that internal being? Have you changed that internal being? When you change that internal being, and when you trust on the power, when you trust on the divine laws of the universe, things start changing. Things start getting better. And that's what I'm saying here. It's not just having a spiritual knowledge, not just having Napoleon Hill actually put it in a very well way. He said, he talked about faith, but he said that faith based upon understanding. And this is exactly I want you to understand. Whenever you're doing something in your life, whatever you are doing, there has to be a faith behind it. But that faith comes with an understanding of your work, understanding of your field, understanding of everything that you can learn about your field. Just become the master and a pro at your work. And when you become a pro at your work and you have this solid, bulletproof mindset that you are learning here, you know what? Nobody can. Let me put it in a better way. Let's not say nobody can. Then you will become unstoppable. And you will achieve things like you could have never imagined yourself achieving. One thing after another, and life is going to become easier for you at that time. And then you will start wondering, Napoleon Hill has another beautiful quote. He said that when riches begin to come, they come so fast and furious that you keep on wondering where they were hiding all those lean years. And that happens when you in tune yourself with the divine laws. And when we talk about riches here in this context, we are not just talking about money. We're talking about everything. Richness of being yourself, richness of loving your life, richness of enjoying your life. And yes, having the money, which is important. Very important aspect of your life. And understand that you're a spiritual being and you live in a physical body. And in order for you to take advantage of your physical body, or if I put it in other better words, in order for you to make the best use of your physical body, you have to learn how to use your intellectual faculties right here. The intellect, the imagination, the intuition, the perception, the will, the memory, the things that we talked about last time. Now, when we move into the next page now, I'm going to talk to you about the diagram of the mind. And we're going to see these things over there, how that spirit works, how does that physical and the inner and the outer world communicate with each other? And how does thought becomes things? We're going to have a look at it right now. But I want you to understand that what we are just doing here, this is incredible. The spiritual, the intellectual, the physical, my dear friends. Think about it for a minute. Does that make sense to you, what we have just discussed? Does that really spark a magic within your heart? That yes, there is something that I still need to change. Understand that it doesn't matter what level you are in your life. There is always something that you can do better. And I always say this to everybody that I work with. Even I say this to myself every single day. I always tell myself that, you know what? There is something better I can do. There is something better I can do. I'm nowhere compared to where I can be. Let me repeat it. I'm nowhere compared to where I can be in this journey of spiritual growth, in this journey of getting better. We have just one life. And think about what Earl Nightingale said. He said, success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And that worthy ideal always keep getting bigger and bigger, always keep getting better and better. What other options you have rather than just getting better? What other options you have rather than just working on yourself? Think about the famous athletes. They have done everything in their life. Do you think they have to just keep on working on themselves? For what purpose they have to? But they're still doing it. Now, sometimes I give this example. I want to give this example. Have a look at Cristiano Ronaldo. He's 40 plus. Have you seen the work ethics? Have you seen the work he is putting in? And that's just football. Think about any other field. The great athletes. The Roger Federer. Such a fantastic sports player before he retired. And look at any other field. The people who are at their prime, who are doing the best, they are not just stopping. They just want to get better. They just want to do something better. You know why? Because they have understood that. They have understood that it's all in the mind. And if they control the mind, things just can get better. And there is no other way around for this. And now we're going to look at the most important element here. Now, this is something that I explain almost in every day, right? But today it's going to be a little different, and it's going to be a little more powerful than we have observed so far. Okay. Now, let's imagine this big circle right here. This represents your mind. And let's say this small circle here is your body. Okay. Now we know that your mind and body is divided into two parts. There is a conscious mind and there is a subconscious mind. All right. And then your mind and body, they are connected. They are just simply connected. All right. And we have here something that is a dumbbell shaped element, and we call it our brain. It's just there. So this is our brain, right? And this is our conscious mind. This is our subconscious mind. All right. Now we have these 5 sensory factors. We have see, smell. Let me write it here for you. We have see, smell, hear, we have taste, and we have touch. Now, these are the sensory factors that we have. Now, let us understand that these sensory factors that we have here, they allow us to communicate with our outer world. Okay. Communicate with the outer world. So our sensory factors allow us to communicate with the outer world. And then what we said in the previous page, that we have our intellectual faculties. Now, our intellectual faculties allows us to communicate with our inner world. Now, just have a look at it, okay? So, the sensory factors allows you to communicate with your outer world, while the intellectual factors allows you to communicate with the inner world. And now what happens when you're communicating with the outer world? It's very easy for you to get distracted, my dear friends. Because when you are communicating with your outer world, what you are looking at is you're looking at your results. You're looking at the world around you in journal. And understand that whenever we are looking at the outer world, okay, we already have a perception about the outer world. What I said, we already have a perception about the outer world. And the perception that we have about the outer world is coming from the paradigms we have in the subconscious mind. Or in other words, you can call it the belief system, or you can call it the convictions, right? But this is what is happening. Now, pay attention to this very closely, my dear friend. So we're looking at our outer results and how we are conceiving these outer results. The perception that we have about our outer results is coming from our paradigms. So you see right here, the results we have right now, we have a perception about those results, and that perception is coming from our paradigms. And what happens then? Most of the time, when most people look at their results, they always look at how bad the economy is. They're always looking at whatever is going on negative, because majority of people are programmed to look at the life in that way. And now you can ignore it if you want to. We have the power, and you can ignore whatever I'm saying, if you don't want to believe it. But I don't say anybody to just trust what I'm saying. I want you to think about it. I want you to go and analyze it. I want you to just really, really become so consistent about questioning these questions, like these ideas that I'm sharing with you. And then think about it. Is this whatever is being said is making sense? If it does making sense, you know that you're on the right track, and you have to make some changes. Now, let's have a look at the inner world now. Let's have a look at these intellectual faculties, okay? Now, our inner faculties allows us to focus on our inner world. And, when we understand the divine inner power, when we understand the divine inner world, we can build our own new perception. And that's what I want you to understand, that you have to build this new perception by using your intellectual faculties. And that's why we are using the visualization. That's why I have asked everybody to build a visualization script. Because when you build that script, what are you doing is you're engaging your higher faculties. Or in other words, higher faculties are just intellectual faculties. You're engaging these higher faculties and intellectual faculties. And when you're engaging this, and then when you're getting involved in the rituals of impressing this new perception onto your subconscious mind. And how we do it? We do it by daily visualizing ourselves. We do it by daily visualizing ourselves, seeing our body the way we want it to see, by seeing our business the way we want to see our business, by looking at our business the way we want our business to grow. And when you allow this new perception to get into your subconscious mind, and you keep playing with this perception, it's not just a matter of one day. It's not just a matter of, like being like that for a week and then not doing it at all. That doesn't make sense. You have to do it persistently, consistently, every single day. When I started my business, like when I get into the mindset philosophy for the first time in 2014, 2015, 2016, 3-4 years first, when I just get introduced to this philosophy, I was literally doing everything that my mentor has told me. If they have asked me to do a affirmation write it for 50 times, or yes, I will do it 50 times. I will just keep writing it without even questioning and without even judging why the hell they are telling me to do it. But then after doing it for so many times, I understood it's a repetition of ideas that matters. Think about when you was a little baby, how many times your parents has to call you with your name before you start understanding, oh, they are calling me. Repetition. How many times you fall down when you just started walking, and how many times you just keep, just spreading your food all the way around you before you learn how to eat. Repetition. Repetition is the key to success. Napoleon Hill wrote about it in the book Think and Grow Rich. He wrote a complete chapter on it. That is auto-suggestion. Now we will get into that chapter somewhere, sometime in our book club. All right. But understand that repetition is the key to success. So when I'm using this inner world of mine, And when I'm just paying attention to that visualization script that I have for myself, and when I'm just visualizing that every single day in, day in, day out, every single day, again and again, again and again, and when I'm impressing that ideas to my subconscious mind, you know what happens? I create a new paradigm. I create a new belief system. And when that new belief system takes charge, when that new belief system start controlling and rewiring my brain, you know what's happened? Now my brain is vibrating my body on a different vibration. And when body is on a different vibration, the action this body is going to take is going to generate a different reaction from the universe. And that is going to give me the different results that I want. And you know, then what's the beauty? Now you can look at your results and you can see what you have achieved. And then you again modify your script. You get better at your script. You start visualizing even better because over the time you are going to get better at things. Understand that, if you start visualizing today and if you keep visualizing for next 90 days, trust me, at the end of the 90 days, you will be a better visualizer than you was when you started. But what if you never started? What if you started and stopped? What if you let the obstacles get into your way? You know what's going to happen? You will still stay the same. You will still stay the same. Think about it. When you're going to gym, when you're exercising your body every single day, your muscles are getting better and better. They're getting stronger and stronger. What if you stop doing it? Your muscles are going to go back to their original shape. They're going to deteriorate. Exactly the same thing with the mind. Mental muscles. Are you really, my dear friends, exercising the mental muscles? Are you really getting better at it? Are you really studying this material? Are you really doing the work, doing the visualization, having a goal card, writing your script, reading your script, sometimes even listening to your script? There are many ways to do it. And we can teach you more ways if you just make a decision, to make a decision to invest into yourself. I know, we do these book clubs because we want to help people. We want to give the best information that we can. But if you think there is something more that you want, you just want to learn and you're ready to break through the barriers, I will encourage you, set up a one-on-one call with me. Let's talk about the programs that we have. Let's talk about how we can get you on board. Get into one of our paid programs. Get into one-on-one mentoring. And your life is going to be completely different. And you will see things happening that you have never seen happening before. And it all happens when you become, the best version of yourself. And to become the best version of yourself, you need understanding, you need knowledge, you need accountability, you need a support system. There are many things you need. And you can do everything by yourself. But how long it's going to take and how strong you will be if you do it by yourself. When I was alone in the beginning, I had a tough time. And then I decided that I'm going to have a mentor. And when I had a mentor, things became different for me because then I started learning things the way my mentor want them to for me. Like, for example, here were my goals, right? But they showed me the path. They showed me what exactly has to be done. And that's what I'll encourage you. If you are someone who is watching this right now, either you're on Zoom call or you are on Facebook or you're on a YouTube live stream. And if you're ready to make that next move in your life, just drop me a message. I will speak to you and we will get it done. We will get it sorted for you and we will take you to the next level of your life. But understand that what I have taught you today right here about your perception controls everything, my dear friends. It's the bridge between you getting the results and you not getting the results. Now, either you can let your perception be controlled by the outside results and the existing paradigms, or you can use your intellectual faculties, or you can use your higher faculties and create a new perception for yourself. Think about it. Think about it. The change can happen once you make the decision. And in the end, I just want to say that thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you all here every single week. And I just want to have more and more people on these calls. So next time, whenever you're here, bring a friend and family so that we can help them too. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. Next week, we will have a dedicated question and answer session for you all. For now, I want to say thank you so much for being here. And I absolutely love doing these sessions and helping you as much as I can on my behalf. So have a good day and have a great week and rest of the weekend wherever in the world you are. Just get ready for the next week. Make your plans, conquer those plans.